All right, guys, what's up? It's Justin back at it again with another Fractal Radio where we explore the world's most amazing blockchain games and projects. And today I am joined by Philip, who is the founder of Magic Connect. Philip, what's up?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Amazing. All right, so tell us, what is Magic Connect and how did you go about, how did you come to be starting it?
Yeah, sure. Kind of a little bit, going back years ago, I started the overall company Riveted Games in 2014. Started kind of in the traditional gaming market. Had a number of games released on Steam as well as some self-published, and really just working a lot as a kind of small independent studio. And then that sort of transitioned actually into blockchain gaming in late 2020 when we released our initial title, Crypto Blades, and learned a lot from that experience. And Crypto Blades is still very much thriving. And kind of one of the things that we've learned there is like, hey, what other sorts of experiments can we kind of do with blockchain gaming and that sort of interaction between something that's fun and strategic, as well as sort of mixing in collectibles. And so Kyle Kemp, the lead designer, co-founder of Magic Connect, had kind of this game like in his back pocket, and he was like, "Look, like given the sorts of things that can be done very well in blockchain gaming, and some of the things that maybe can't be done very well in blockchain gaming right now, I think this would be like really well suited because it has these collectible aspects where you can have all of these different characters. It's got that sort of game of chance aspect, like very much in the gacha genre, much like probably the most popular game in that genre right now is like Genshin Impact, and from there, it's just a matter of sort of that, having the collectible aspect of NFTs, having the strategic game where there's a turn-based strategy game that's free to play, and then as users sort of uh, progress through the game, they can export those into NFTs and go into the whole round of, there's all these NFT mini games that are currently in design, with Magic Card being the initial one that's in development right now. And it's this play on what if we sort of create these free to play on ramps that can maybe introduce some more people to the benefits and how blockchain can actually improve gaming instead of just kind of like slapping blockchain onto just any old game, right? It's kind of seeking some of those elements that are more congruent, between the two.
Awesome. So tell us about the first experience. Like, what is it? How do people play it? Like, what's the
Yeah.
game design
Yes.
like?
Yep. So it's kind of interesting because you can come at it from straight from the crypto side of things, as well as straight from the free to play side of things. So it's almost like two sister products that are where if somebody never wants to do anything with the blockchain or with crypto or anything like that, right? Maybe that's just a hurdle that they're not willing to jump yet. There's many people sort of in that camp. They can join. They can play the Unity game either on mobile or on desktop, and it is a collectible game where you're going to be collecting all these different characters. You're going to be upgrading those characters as you participate in turn-based strategy, sort of similar to something like on a very basic level, like Final Fantasy, where you have your set of characters and you're competing through the story, which is really another of the probably most prominent aspects of the game, that you'll be sort of learning about these characters as you go along. There's a significant amount of story and lore already involved with the game, and that's also what's going to be driving content long term too. So that's sort of there's kind of a lot of games, especially in the blockchain space, where it's like, all right, we pushed it out there, and that's sort of it. And maybe there's going to be some more features or things like that. But this is one area where we kind of saw that one of the easiest ways to sort of be continuing to incorporate more and more even NFTs or content in general is through having this story-based play. And then as players are continuing to get through the game itself and playing with other players even, they can export those characters to NFTs, and they can actually participate in a variety of different, what we're calling kind of mini games, where these NFTs can actually allow the players to then earn yeah, cryptocurrency, which is and the M shard token, which is currently unreleased, but will be released along with the NFT games. And so that's kind of where it sort of comes into play. And then the NFTs that people are purchasing on Fractal, those can participate in Magic Card. If you get ones that are anywhere from 1 star to 5 star as far as the rarity, you can actually import that into Magic Connect and get all sorts of different benefits, like maybe import them at a higher level or import them at a higher what's called a limit break, which is one of the ways that if you are sort of rolling and rolling and rolling, drawing more characters and cards, if you already have that character, then you can increase the limit break with that character. So again, really driving into this whole aspect of collectability and of kind of increasing the value of your own NFTs, because you can be upgrading them through sort of this leveling up and limit break process. That way, there's an avenue for the free to play players and an avenue for the NFT gamers who sort of want to be able to like recoup, maybe that cost and then have some sort of return on investment when they're actually playing the game. So, like I said, this whole area is kind of experimental. We're trying to really do something a little bit different by incorporating blockchain into this gacha genre. There are some other games that are doing that more recently, but we're sort of just drawing on some of the things that are working for them, and really also trying to avoid many of the things that are not working for them. And I think, given that we sort of come from this blockchain background, that we should have maybe a leg up when it comes to actually producing games in this genre, that is where the crypto is actually a value add and not just seen as like even a detriment by many gamers.
Yeah.
So
I think that's super important. That's something that's really has to happen in order for this to go mainstream, right? The number of blockchain crypto players is like pretty small right now. It's only been maybe 1.4 million wallets that have ever touched any crypto game, but obviously there are billions of players who play video games out there, and so having it not be seen as a detriment, I think, is a really critical step to getting adoption.
yeah, and just to sort of even kind of follow along that same line of thinking, I think there's also just this idea of you kind of get this people sort of stick to a certain context when it comes to how they view blockchain games in general, and whether that's about the climate or whether it's about like rug pulls and sort of all of these like really negative things that do exist in this space. Then there's this aspect of like, what is sort of like the true spirit of NFT gaming? And really, it's a matter. It's honestly really simple economically. It's that since really the dawn of the existence of gaming, money has really only flowed one way, and that's into the gaming companies who are selling games, and especially as of lately, selling content in those games, selling characters, selling weapons, etc. And really, all at its most basic level, all NFT games are doing is allowing that money to flow back out. That's all,
Yeah.
at its most basic level. It's like, hey, all right, I'm going to spend my money in the game and I'm going to have this NFT. Maybe it's an item. And if I want to, I can also sell that item to somebody else who's interested in it. Or if I'm earning, if I'm playing Pac-Man and my score is going up, maybe I can actually withdraw that score and as a cryptocurrency and be able to sell that because I'm an exceptionally good Pac-Man player. Like, that's just the basic concept that is, yes, there's these other things that are at play still, and there are scams out there, and there are this and that, and at its core, it's the technology is not the problem, right? It's
Yeah.
that, like with anything, people misuse any kind of technology. So that's, I probably hop off my soapbox now, but
No, I totally, I completely agree. It's that it's not, people have these preconceived notions, like you were saying, about what a blockchain game is, but it's actually, they're all like, all the implementations thus far are experiments, right? Like, and people are like, I was asked yesterday, I was like, oh, aren't these games all pay to win? And I'm like, no, that's not necessarily the case. It's just like the technology just allows a closed economy to be an open economy, right? Like, how you implement that in your game and like what you can buy in your game or not buy is like completely up to the game design, right? It has nothing to do with it being a blockchain game.
exactly. Yeah. Well said.
Amazing. So tell us about when this first experience is going to come out.
Sure. So roughly within the next 2 months, we're going to have the release of Magic Card, which is going to be the initial NFT gaming experience for Magic Connect. But additionally, as I mentioned, these NFTs that we're selling in this initial run with Fractal will these NFTs will be usable in any and all future mini games as well. So Magic Card is obviously going to be one, but there's an entire slew of games that I won't leak it all right now, but our game design document is ever growing. We have like 70 pages of both the free to play as well as the NFT gaming and mini games and things like that. But honestly, what I'm most excited about actually is just uh, the free to play or freemium, I guess you could even call it, right? Because actually in the back end, people will be purchasing the M-Shard token when they're purchasing premium currency, which is going to be also a kind of an interesting experience because not that there's anything sort of trying to be hidden from the users, right? Like, but the whole idea is even just downloading a wallet, like, some people are
Yeah.
just they're a little bit, uneasy about that, or they feel unsure about it. And so one of the things that we're going to be working on is trying to incorporate various SDKs and things like that for setting up that wallet sort of on the back end when they're making their purchase. Like they can do that, with their credit card or whatever, if they want to try and roll for some more characters or buy some items, and that will be purchased as the cryptocurrency. And if they want to, they can withdraw the NFTs and cryptocurrency back out to their wallet, simply just export that and it's theirs. So that's sort of also the idea as far as like on-ramping people. But back to the sort of timeline, the free-to-play aspect, we hope that there should be an alpha, which would certainly be available primarily to the NFT holders first. Again, within the next 2 months, that people can actually try out the turn-based combat and things like that. We are going to be releasing all the different designs and stuff leading up to it, and of course collecting player feedback and that kind of thing. But certainly by the end of the year, we'll have a ton of stuff for people to do, be published on the Play Store and things like that. So yeah, it's a little bit nerve-wracking because it's like almost like it's one thing when you sort of know your community, and that's like the blockchain gamers, and now it's sort of like, all right, like we've kind of seen a lot of other companies stumble when it comes to sort of releasing a game that is trying to cater to both communities. But it's honestly like pretty exciting because that's sort of the kind of challenge that makes these experiments like worthwhile, and just trying to do something very different. But yeah, anyways, that's like
Yeah.
a very complex answer to the very simple question.
No, I love that. And I think, like I said earlier, I think you'll have to bridge this gap between, crypto players and non-crypto players. And it sounds like you're masking a lot of, or like, it's crypto behind the scenes, but like the on-ramp for these freemium players might be really simple and something much more like what they're used to seeing in games today, which is an awesome way to experiment. Like, how are you thinking? Like, what have you learned from watching other people in this industry? Maybe you mentioned there were some stumbles. Like, what are you guys trying to do that's different?
Yeah, honestly, like the most important thing that I've seen and learned is having a solid tokenomic structure for the earnings mechanisms is there's a lot that goes into it, but it's probably where we're spending the vast majority of our time. I mean, even in this whole element, as I was mentioning about how do you take these NFTs that people are buying, they're gonna mint them, and they're gonna be anywhere from a 1 star to a 5 star. All right, so when we implement those into or import those into the freemium game, how powerful should they be? What should the experience be like for somebody who buys the NFT versus somebody who plays for free versus somebody who plays the freemium game and is buying some upgrades and things like that. And we're basically just simulating all of that out and making sure that everything sort of overlaps from a player experience. That way, there's not this, because what you mentioned already is one of the more common complaints about blockchain games that are trying to move into the traditional space is, oh, it's just pay to win, right? That's something that people hear all the time. And the whole part of it that is interesting to us is like, and that we're learning a lot from is free-to-play games went through, and freemium games went through this exact same growing pain. Like there was a time
Yeah.
when Farmville, probably one of, like, in my opinion, one of the first sort of freemium games to come out way back when. Actually, there were some many years ago that just weren't as popular, but when Farmville came out, it was everybody who were true gamers made fun of that sort of experience and made fun of all of their moms and dads who were like buying different plants and shovels and farms and stuff. And then in here now we have gotcha games where like people will pay $1,000 for like an anime girl who looks like a warship. Like it's kind of interesting that there's this emotional value that everybody sort of puts into their games. And even when you look at there's so many other correlations, but look at gaming PCs. Like, why do people buy expensive gaming PCs? Because they do want an edge. They want it to look amazing, but they want to have high frame rates. And there's certain elements to this where it's like, well, I just really care about this, and I put a lot of time into it, and I sort of use my money in a way that is representative of that time. And what people want to know is that somebody else isn't taking a shortcut. And so all that sort of comes into play here with the tokenomics, that the way that people are both importing NFTs as well as earning the M-Shard token is all fairly determined by the actual players themselves, through some of the systems we have, for example, with the tournaments and with the skill-based gameplay, where in Magic Card, for example, like the player who's better is at Magic Card is inevitably going to win, and the person who might even have some like fewer NFT cards or less powerful NFT cards are really just going to actually earn less when they do win. And so it's instead
Yeah.
of being able to just outright beat everybody by buying the best cards, you're just going to earn less. So there's other little levers you can kind of pull that we're trying to just really get creative with when it comes to how do we incentivize people to own the NFTs, or to own how do we raise the floor prices for the NFTs that people do own. And it's sort of just this management of the token economies.
Awesome. And tell us about this collection that we're launching together, Fractal and Magic Connect.
Yeah, so there's going to be a variety of 60 different NFTs, which is 12 characters ranging from 1 star to 5 stars. There's going to be a total of 3,000 NFTs that are sold, and you can earn the whitelist token for the mint on our Discord, which if we can't post any links here, it'll be discord.gg/magicconnect, all one word. And we're really trying to drive the community first, and also sort of leverage kind of this new community within Solana, which we never delved into with CryptoBlades before, but we're very excited after having worked with Solana and with you guys about just entering into this ecosystem of people who are really just fanatics about games and gaming. So yeah, that's sort of like the community that we're really trying to cater to here. And as far as the mint itself goes, when you participate in it, you can mint, like I said, anywhere from the 1 star to the 5 star. 5 stars are the rarest kind, so probably the most highly sought after. But all of them actually give you earning abilities in the Magic Card game, as well as can be imported into the Magic Connect mobile game and desktop game. So lots of utility right up front with it. And of course, we're going to continue to be adding in utility by making these NFTs usable in all future mini games. So you don't have to like continue buying NFT after NFT. These initial ones will be, these Genesis NFTs will continue to have more utility and more value. And it's kind of a way for us to sort of diversify the interest in the NFTs, because who knows, one of the mini games might end up really exploding in popularity. Or, so there's sort of a lot of different ways. That's, again, another part of this sort of experiment, is not making the NFT just about one single game. So
Awesome. I love it. Where can people find out more about Magic Connect?
sure. So you can go to magic-connect.com. Certainly go to the Discord at discord.gg/magicconnect. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Reddit as well. We're still sort of growing the community, but we really hope, especially if you love gacha games, we would love to have your feedback. We're going to be releasing more information on the game design document and everything like that, so you can see that there's a lot more to this than than me just talking about it or than just some hype video. Like we really want to, we know that this community loves to sort of get into the nitty gritty of all the different strategies and all the different stats and all the min maxing and things like that. So, you know, we would love to have people in as early as possible to sort of give feedback on all of those. And of course, if you get in to the Discord early, you know, you're going to have the most chance of getting one of these whitelist tokens as well. But regardless of when we hear from the community, you know, we'd love to have everyone over to chat and build this with us.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you. That was great.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and of course, you know, nice to meet you as well.